Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I have maybe what might become a fairly sensitive topic, but we all know and love this particular camera. This is my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. One of the greatest cameras of its kind ever invented as far as I'm concerned. It does everything. Now it has a competitor, maybe. It's either a competitor or a clone or a rebranding with a different name. So let's take a look at some of the facts and findings that I've found. I am not a lawyer, but I will tell you what I have seen and studied. Just sharing this with you guys. I think it's pretty interesting, so hang with me and let's get started. So this is one of the easiest, most fun to use cameras ever made. And I've been around a long time. It's just a great camera for what it does. We all, probably most of you guys have one and we all love them. The thing is, there is another one on Amazon. I'm going to show you a picture of it right here. This is called the Xtra Muse. It's named as a vlogging camera with a 1-inch CMOS sensor, 4K 120, identical specs to the Osmo Pocket 3. Everything is the same. And now, you want to know some proof of that. Well, here's where I can get the proof. And here's what we know so far. Some of this I may just be reading because I want to make sure I get this right. But according to The Verge, it states that the investigation of the Xtra Muse uses the same internal components, circuit board and layout chips as the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It says when comparing the two side by side, they behave identically, has the same gimbal folding, the same timing, the same mechanical sounds, and the same thermal characteristics. That is according to The Verge. They also state that the compatibility is strikingly close. The Xtra Muse works with DJI's lenses and all the attachments. It even fits the DJI's hard shell in the carrying case for the Pocket 3. They say in the Xtra app, the investigators discovered thousands of leftover references to DJI, such as links to DJI's Light Cut video app, and even code naming for the DJI's e-bike drive system. Petapixel says this. Says the Petapixel frames this as a potential strategy by DJI to circumvent the U.S. import tariffs by selling the same hardware under a different name. Now you can ban a company name, that's not so hard, but banning the technology, that gets into a little bit of a gray area. So that could possibly be happening. Again, I'm not saying this is for sure. This is all speculation. I just wanted to share this with you guys because I find it really interesting and I thought you guys would find it really interesting as well. So let's keep going. When Petapixel did a teardown, they said their report aligned a lot with what The Verge said. The text components and copy-paste code traces strongly suggest the same factory origin. On Reddit, users are saying it's actually the same device, physically and identically beyond aesthetic differences. The Osmo Pocket 3 shell works, same modes, same active track, same magnet lens system. Now the only limitation with it that we've found so far is one thing that is really handy is when I turn on my Pocket 3, I can put my DJI mic up to it and it will sync together automatically. Apparently the Muse does not do that yet, but that can be fixed through software. So I think we're walking a really, really fine line here of, is this a competitor? Because it sure doesn't look like a competitor. And one thing I was going to show you guys, I showed you a picture a while ago of the Xtra Muse. If you guys think this is really interesting as I do, I already have the Osmo Pocket 3. And if we want to do our own test, I'll order an Xtra Muse, we'll get it in and we'll test them side by side. Now it's kind of inexpensive. I mean, it's on sale for $500. That's still a lot of money to get to do testing. But if enough of you guys say that you want to see a side-by-side test done by me, let me know. If enough of you say yes, I'll order one with my own money and we'll do our own testing. I'd like to do things on my own anyway instead of reading spec lists. But in the end, what does this really mean? Is DJI breaking the law or is this a way around the law? We all know very wealthy people, billionaires, have ways of, circumventing taxes a little bit because they can pay to people that know how to do things, if you know what I'm saying. I think most of you do. So what does it mean? What does it prove? There is very strong evidence to show that the Muse is identical on the inside as a DJI Pocket 3. Can we prove that it comes out of the same exact factory? Yeah, kind of they can. I personally can't, but they say that they kind of can. They say it matches up with the same factory. It has the matching hardware design, the board layout, the component section, identical behavior. It said it shares code base with the leftover references to DJI, cross compatibility with the lenses and cases, but it says DJI has not officially acknowledged that Xtra is a DJI owned or subsidiary brand. So we're still up in the air about this. You know, let's be real. The USA wants to ban DJI, the largest maker of drones. They're getting into cameras. DJI is lighting up the market. Whatever they get in, they don't just get in it to play. They get in it to win. They won the drones. They're kicking butt with cameras. There's rumors of them coming out with a mirrorless camera. Now, I don't know if that's true, and I would love to see a DJI mirrorless camera. So I'm not trying to just spread rumors. I wouldn't throw this out there if it was just some random post that I saw somewhere, but I did some research on this, and I think, you know, The Verge, Petapixel, other places, if you guys want to check this out, let me know what you're finding out. But what I'm seeing is the Xtra is a whole lot like the Pocket 3. The biggest difference being the microphone won't sync up. But again, that's a very, very small thing that can be fixed in the software. Not a huge problem. But I do love the convenience of being able to just flip this on and it sync automatically. So I'm going to put up a picture of the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that's listed on Amazon. That is it right here. List for $615, and it's actually on sale 23% off, regular $799. That's the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Here is the Xtra Muse vlogging camera, 1-inch CMOS. They look identical, except for the name on the bottom. So you guys tell me, is this competition or is this a rebranding? I can't say for sure. But the fact that they're wanting to ban DJI from the United States and the fact that DJI is such a huge company, it sure does sound like there's something going on that would require some money. If this was a small company, it wouldn't be anything. But let's face it, DJI, I forget their value. I think I heard like $15 billion. Now, don't quote me on that. I could be completely wrong. That was off the top of my head. I'm not sure of that number. I'll look that up at a later time. I'll let you guys know if I'm right. But even if it's not 15 billion, they are a large company. And large companies with lots of money, they find ways to bend the rules a little bit. So, I mean, let's face it, if you own DJI and they want to take the USA out of your market, that's a big chunk out of your market. I definitely, if I was running the company, I would be like, okay, guys, let's find a way to get around these rules. You know, we don't have to break the law. We'll just use the law to our benefit. It happens every day in business. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. And if enough of you guys want, I will order an Xtra Muse. It's a lot of you guys just let me know down at the bottom. You want me to order one? I'll order it. We'll do our own testing. That's why I like to compare things. But anyway, you guys let me know. I thought it was interesting. Again, can't say this is a fact, but I sure can say it is a very, very interesting comparison. Anyway, I appreciate it, guys. Let me know if you find this video interesting. Leave me a message down at the bottom. Let me know what you think. If you want me to get an Xtra Muse, drop that down the bottom too. We'll get one and we'll get it checked out. You guys have a great day. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks a lot.